Hello and welcome to another episode of the Ball Ridden Podcast. It is March 16th, and we have a bracket. Can you hear that? Well, Josh, we have a bracket. We don't have the bracket yet. The bracket was 7 o'clock right now. The bracket comes out in about an hour or two with the National Invitational Tournament bracket.
Exactly. See, see, we get the NIT.
Men of high class like us.
Yes. Unfortunately, I did see that Belmont will be deferring the NIT. One of the saddest stories I've ever heard of. But with the news coming out that their party's going to be headed over to Kansas State. Um, but yeah, we're really waiting for the NIT soon.
And sadly, the CBI, rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Moment of
Moment of
silence
silence.
for the CBI. Thank you. All right, yeah. So we have we got a bracket. This is about as instant of a reaction you can get. Like I said, it's just a little before 7 o'clock here, Eastern Standard Time. The bracket reveal show just wrapped up, and we're just gonna. This is gut level reaction. I don't know where to start. It's a lot to look at. I have a bracket printed out here. I love just look. It makes me, if you can't tell, I'm giddy. Just having a bracket in front of me makes me giddy. Uh, we can go through our takeaways from this selection. So I guess this is where we can start because this is what happens every year. We spend so much time. The last fourth of the season, probably the whole argument is about the bubble and the bubble teams, and that's all everyone talks about and argues about. And then people spend about 5 to 10 minutes being upset about the bubble after the bracket comes out, and then it doesn't matter anymore. So, anything you want to get off your chest about the bubble?
No, I don't think they got it wrong. I kind of like what they did. The thing is, though, is look, I'm all about hating on the SEC. I mean, this is a conference again that had 13 teams in last year. This year they rounded off with the most teams in the bracket again. We did not need to see two more of them and there's what it was Oklahoma and Auburn as the first two out.
Yep, first two out.
Yeah, so I I don't hate it. I don't hate leaving those two teams out. You play all year the SEC has been okay. Florida's really dominated the SEC since that like middle of the season and on through that, and obviously they get upset by Vanderbilt and Arkansas ends up winning it, but we did not need to see those other two teams from the SEC in there. I do like the addition of Miami, Ohio, and SMU. I think those teams are deserving. I think SMU. I actually really like the pairing of Miami, Ohio, SMU.
Yeah, that's a good first four game.
Yeah, and I do think SMU has the edge there. However, Miami, Ohio in Dayton is kind of
It's going to be
kind
a
of interesting.
large, heavy crowd favorite, and I mean, I just think we don't know what. We have no clue how good Miami, Ohio is against a team like SMU. Like they haven't. That's the story all year. They haven't played anyone, so we don't know. But I completely agree with you on the bubble. I don't think there's any mistakes. Auburn team with 15, 16 losses should have no business being in. Oklahoma got hot at the end, but a little too little, too late. And yeah, I'm happy to see Miami in. One interesting point I did have though, they showed Miami as the last team in, right?
Yeah,
So that would have meant possibly, I don't know how it would have worked with VCU, but if Dayton would have won today, they would have knocked out Miami.
potentially that would have been the bid steal. That would have been a three bid A10. I can't imagine. See, I feel like they kind of just did that.
I think they made them last team in for show. I think it was all for show.
Yeah,
No matter what happened, they were going to be last team
right,
in.
right. I think maybe if yeah, I think honestly, if Dayton wins today, they probably just don't put VCU in the bracket.
Yeah, that's where VCU would have made it messy. But I think
Right.
I think no matter what, Miami was last team in. All right, that's case closed on the bubble. Let's get into the bracket. So we got one seeds: Duke, Arizona, Michigan, Florida. No arguments there. I think.
No, no. I mean that was what we said all year. There was the three top ones, and then Florida came on at the end, and it really wasn't anything.
It did come down to yesterday though. Basically, UConn. If UConn did win, they probably would have got that fourth one seed.
Yeah, potentially. I guess What? Because they lost. I guess they lost. Ended up losing out the series against St. John's throughout the year. But yeah. So I mean, maybe I think I guess it did come down to it. I don't know if it necessarily mattered too much though. Um, because what? Well, UConn was listed as what, the bottom two, no?
I don't know. I didn't. I probably turned it off before they showed all that. Were they?
I mean, they're in Duke's region, so I'd imagine.
I don't know how they do all that, boy. That's how it should work, right? The one gets the worst
Yeah,
two. So maybe it is.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so I don't know if they necessarily would have got it. I think they had that little stretch down the end of the year where they were kind of playing bad basketball, and Florida was like the hottest team in the country. So I think it could have been Florida's regardless. Maybe the difference would have been. I mean, I don't really know. Honestly, I think it was Florida's.
UConn did beat them head to head, though. That's the one thing. But that was earlier in the
Yeah,
year when
way earlier.
Florida was literally a completely different team. Uh, Still talking one seeds though. We'll say what one seed do you think got the best draw?
Yeah, I am going to have to say probably probably Michigan. I don't necessarily see St. Louis and Georgia as as tough a competition as everyone else. Florida, I kind of feel like it could have been them, but the reason why I'm not saying Florida, I think Florida walks in the Sweet 16. I do think that Florida might have the toughest region overall, with just who's in that spot. Duke obviously sees an OSU team who can really play with anyone, and then TCU,
Mm-hmm.
if TCU does win, who TCU is a very the TCU keeps a lot of games close, and they did come out of that Big 12, so like they're obviously programmed. You look at like Arizona. I don't necessarily know how I feel about uh Villanova and Utah State. Obviously, they're both pretty solid, but you get a first year head coach at Nova, and then you get Utah State, who's really dominated the Mountain West this year. And so I kind of feel like Zona, with Wisconsin and Arkansas coming out potentially in that bottom, with a date in the Sweet
That's
16,
tough.
it
Yes.
could be a tough spot. And then I just look at Michigan, and I think you walk into the Sweet 16. I don't necessarily. Bama had a really good, last month of basketball, but I just don't see anyone realistically up until like Virginia, maybe Iowa State, that could really give Michigan a run for their money. Uh, so I'm gonna have to say Michigan.
Yeah, if you talk about just getting out of that little top cluster to get you that would get you what to the Elite Eight. I think Michigan has the best straw there, but there used to always be a trend. I think it might have. I don't know if it was every year, but I know it didn't happen last year. Where a one seed, there used to always be at least one seed that didn't make it past the first weekend, meaning they would lose likely in the second game, other than what Virginia and Purdue that lost to the 16. But to that point, I don't see that happening this year. The 8-9 matchups feel a lot weaker to me. Although I will say TCU Ohio State is a phenomenal 8-9 game. I love that matchup, but I don't think either of those teams are going to be able to really compete with Duke for a full 40 minutes.
Yeah, and that's what I agree. I do think it is kind of interesting because the 8-9 and 7-10 spot were kind of was it had a lot of movement in the last probably
Oh
2
my
weeks.
God, yeah. Ohio State was literally probably on the wrong side of the bubble, right? Just 2 3 weeks
Yeah,
ago. Now they're all the way up to an 8.
yeah. So it almost feels like you look at a team like Ohio State and you look at a team like VCU. VCU falls in the 11th spot versus North Carolina. If Ohio State falls against that spot, with Caleb Wilson being out, you know, they're a very popular pick to make the Sweet 16
Ohio State's got
potentially.
to be wishing they were a 10 or 11.
I'd want to fall on that. Yeah, right. Because I mean, it's
You don't want
tough.
to see these ones.
Right, and if you're Ohio State, I if they would have gotten the 7, they could have been in UCLA's spot where UCLA's could see UConn in the second round, and UConn's obviously a tournament team, but I mean they have multiple blowout losses, and they just got destroyed by St. John's. So I think that 8-9 spot and it is definitely going to be the biggest story of how these teams have moved around.
Yeah, let's get a little structure here because I realized we were just kind of going all over the place, but we kind of found a little structure there. I guess let's just go by the region, and we did just hit on the East a lot there, with Ohio State, with Duke, and then you brought up UCLA, who's at that the 7 spot there, and they get UCF the 10. I told you I liked UCLA as a sneaky team to possibly make a run, Sweet 16 especially. They came out this weekend and looked good, made it to the Big Ten semis. The question though, are they healthy? Bilodeau got injured, Donovan Dent got injured, and then this draw. This it's not. You said you liked the draw. I thought I don't think it's a great draw. The number one reason why. Do you know where they're playing?
Where's it at? Is it in Florida?
Philly.
Oh,
They're going.
okay.
They're going east.
Oh, okay.
They're
So
not winning out east.
yeah,
They could win, they could win the
that's
first game though, but you or UConn in the second round, out east in Philly. I don't know. Mick
yeah. I mean,
Cronin.
that's gonna be a home game, essentially for UConn. That is tough, but you know, I think with the thing that like I like about UCLA is realistically, I love Donovan Dent. I think that he's like the type of guard you really need to make a run of the tournament. He's not a 3-point shooter. I think he's made like 15 maybe on the entire year, and 5 of them were in one game. But he's a great facilitator. He can score. He's really hard to guard when he's driving to the lane. He dishes the ball out. However, he's shown that when he needs to, he can score the basketball. He can shoot, and he can facilitate. Like you said, it sucks how banged up they got. Um,
They had guys step up though. That Perry guy stepped up as a scorer,
yeah,
especially.
yeah. So, but this is exactly what I texted you about. We have potential to see a Cronin Hurley
Oh my god.
second round matchup. Um, these guys, loser of this game is going to disintegrate, or like I mean, they're just going to explode after the game.
If we get that game, can we have an alternate broadcast that's just strictly a coach's cam? Please,
Yeah, I mean,
please.
over under a trillion steps taken by both coaches combined.
Yeah, Hurley got what they both got teed up this weekend. I
They
think.
did,
Yeah,
yeah.
Cronin got teed up. What did Cronin even do anything egregious?
It wasn't egregious, but it's just Cronin, so it's funny.
I don't think Hurley did either. I think Hurley's was more of a strategic tech, but yeah, that would be an electric matchup coaching wise. Also in that region, I do like USF as an 11 against Louisville. Cal Baptist, huge win last night. Dominique, I don't know if he goes by Dom Daniels Jr., one of the best scorers in the country, one of the best players in mid major. He's a bucket for them, so that's a potential, guy that can make a name for himself in March Madness. They get Kansas in the first round, and then Northern Iowa St. John's. That game's going to be a
Yeah,
defensive battle. Northern Iowa plays slow, plays good defense. St. John's plays really good defense. I think Northern Iowa is going to be an extremely trendy upset pick just because a lot of people will see that name Northern Iowa and say they normally do something in the bracket, but I don't see them beating St. John's. And
it's tough. It's definitely a better draw at that 12 spot than I will say. It's probably the best spot. You and I is good. They've obviously been on a roll that last month of the season in the Missouri Valley. But you look at the other 12s, and like I don't necessarily think that I'd want to see.
uh, I
I
wouldn't I
mean,
wouldn't mind seeing Texas Tech just because the injuries, but
no, I'm talking. Well, no, I'm saying like for St. John's, if you were to see a
oh,
12
St.
spot.
John's. Sorry,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yes,
If you
yes,
were to see a
yes,
12 spot, I wouldn't necessarily want to see any of those other teams.
yes.
Um, so it's nice. They definitely, I would say, maybe got the worst one. However, they are very. I mean, obviously, you got to win a lot of games to make it there as a automatic qualifier in a row. But they've won not just a tournament. They've won probably what it was on like 6 in a row before they even got to the tournament.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, I think it's going to be the trendy pick. And it's tough to say. The one that Yeah, the wild card for me, like you said, in this entire thing could be USF. Um, the American typically has Memphis that runs it, and Memphis is always a very popular pick um to do some damage. Recently they really haven't. However, this USF team is really, really solid. Um they see Izzo, and they could see Izzo, obviously, North Dakota
Yeah, they
State
got to
just
beat Louisville.
yeah. But
Who is there? Have you heard any word about Michael Brown?
I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be healthy enough. And that's going to be the thing. Pat Kelsey gets a chance to win his first NCAA tournament game. He's an awesome coach. Um, However, that is a tough, tough draw. Seeing them. All right, Frank, give me your Sweet 16 out of that spot. Give me your four.
God, you're gonna put me on the spot like this.
On the spot.
I was gonna have us just do the final four by the end.
That's fine. That's fine with me.
God,
That's fine with me.
yeah. All right,
We'll
you're
do
putting me on
that.
the spot too much. We can try to figure out a final four by the end of this. All right, I think we're good with that. That
Yeah.
East region. Let's move down to the West, or no, the South. Sorry, where we have Florida. I found it. This is probably a stupid point, but I found it interesting how all the locations slash directions worked out for the one seeds this year. Duke's East, Florida's South, Arizona's West, Michigan's Midwest. Normally it doesn't work like that. Normally like someone like Purdue's like the fourth one seed and is going out west. But all right, enough of that. To the south with Florida's the one. They'll get the winner of Clemson, Iowa, McNeese, Vanderbilt's there. Houston's down there at the two. Houston. I'm all the way back on Houston.
Yeah, I was able to take a peek real quick at the people's bracket on ESPN. Houston right now is actually the favorite to come out of the South over Florida. It's like 70 like 1% right now.
Well, I don't love that.
Yeah, so that's the only thing I do worry about.
Call me a
But
square.
but like you said though, it feels like this has to be a team for Calvin Sampson. It's they went there last year. Um,
It's a lot of the same guys.
right. It's just now or never. It kind of feels like for them. I don't think that they really have. I don't necessarily think St. Mary's Texas A&M is a hard matchup in the second round for Houston.
It's a
I
beautiful
mean,
draw.
it is, and then you see Illinois, and Illinois is potentially not even going to make it because they could. I mean, I don't think. I think what's popular about this side is you're going to see. I think a lot of people are going to choose VCU, and I'm actually going to be one of those people.
There's always one game where it's the 6-11, 12-5 where the higher seed is favored sportsbook wise. I think VCU. I can look actually. I think they're probably going to be favored or
It's going to be pretty
close.
tight. Yeah, I would almost argue. I think just knowing how Illinois is, I would say like seeing a VCU in that round of 32.
I was talking VCU North Carolina. Sorry.
No. I'm just saying. I'm saying like if VCU beats North Carolina, I'm thinking right now Houston might see VCU, which
You are so down on Illinois right now.
dude that
Watch, this is the that maybe that's the way to go into it though. The year you're down
exactly.
on them.
I've always gone way too hot, but I do think Houston has a really really nice draw. Um, I mean, you look at the top of this bracket. I don't necessarily think Florida will struggle with a potential Clemson Iowa. Um, it's big names, but Iowa obviously you get a lot of guys who can shoot. They might be able to keep the score up there with them. Clemson, it depends who you're going to see, because like Clemson can play with you, or they're going to lose by 60, and it's always one or the other with them. The one I'm interested about is like the Vanderbilt Nebraska game or potential round of 32. Both so Vandy sees McNeese in that first round. McNeese pretty solid. Always there. Obviously, Will Wade's gone now at NC State, but I know and Nebraska sees Troy in that first round, and Troy could be a trendy pick. 'Cause obviously Hoiberg's never won, or Nebraska's never won a tournament game.
Ever.
Um, it is kind of crazy to me because like I think now, like, what do you think Vandy's line? Like, where do you think Vandy would have been if they didn't make a run to the SEC championship?
See, that's the thing where everyone talks about how much uh, thought is put into these conference championship tournaments when it comes to seeding. Like, do they really change that much? Where I think it would have because I think it did in this instance because I don't think Vanderbilt was a team that was thought that highly of before this weekend.
Right. That's 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 what I think. But then I look back and I look at St. John's
Yeah,
and I'm like,
yeah,
how the hell's St. John's at a 4 or 3?
that's a great point.
Um. So, but I do feel like going into this weekend, I if you would have asked me what Vanderbilt would have been, and I would have said like a 7. I didn't think they were that good. And then they make that run in the SEC tournament. Um. So it's interesting, but what I like about this side is I feel like this region um is by far the hardest one where you have to really analyze each round. I don't really think there's necessarily because even when you look at St. Mary's and Texas A&M, like I don't know who's going to win that game. I don't really care who's going to win that game. I feel like they're going to lose to Houston, but those matchups in the first round are all potentially some of the hardest ones you're going to have to pick throughout the entire tournament. Um, on in regards to each region. Clemson, Iowa, like I said, you don't know what you're gonna get. McNeese is gonna be a popular upset pick. Troy, the Trojans have been hot, and they're coming out of the Sun Belt.
I think the Sun Belt sucks.
Yeah, but
I
like
think
I
I
mean,
came to that conclusion. I was big on Troy early in the season. I don't think they're much of a upset contender, but carry on.
yeah, but no, like we said, VCU, the A10, solid. It's a solid league, and they're seeing a beat up UNC team. Penn, Illinois. Fran might have
Fran.
9 million points. Yeah, against Illinois. It always seems like betting against Illinois is the popular pick when it comes to tournament games. So uh, it's gonna be weird. But shout out Idaho too, making their first ever tournament.
Yeah. Idaho and Cal Baptist, both of their first tournament appearance.
Yeah, so I mean, my popular upset pick here is going to be VCU, though. I think VCU can have a run to the Sweet 16. Um, I I really have no idea what's going to happen on the top side of that a South bracket.
Yeah, I think VCU over UNC is going to be the upset, if you even want to call it that, because I think most people will pick VCU. And going back to the sports book with that one, it's a North Carolina -2.5 right now.
See, and that's crazy to think about. Like, what do you think? So I'm actually looking right now at it. So 67% of the fan vote is on North Carolina, but that's also probably has to do with how big the name
The
is
brand name,
of.
yeah. A lot of people just see Carolina, and it's like Carolina, Carolina, just take them.
Yeah. Interesting to note, 58% of the fans are on Iowa over Clemson. So that's interesting. The St. Mary's Texas A&M is right at dead even. So
This guy loves the fan bracket.
I love
It
looking
it,
at what other people are thinking
it is a
because
great way to gauge. I love to do that too.
you got to think about it. You're getting your people that are just looking and like they haven't watched a lick of college basketball the entire
A
year.
lot of squares filling out their bracket right now.
Exactly.
One more thing of this region, I said, or you talked about Illinois, and I think Penn might be a tricky first round matchup. I told you getting a coach like Fran McCaffrey that spent years in the Big Ten and is kind of familiar with a team like Illinois and Brad Underwood. I think that's tricky, but I do think Illinois will win. Penn had the exciting win today in the Ivy League final. TJ Power dropped 44, including the game tying shot. Did you know he's not even their leading scorer on the season?
Really?
Yeah, their leading scorer is he's been out with a concussion, and it said he's not expected to return even for this tournament.
Oh wow, that's awesome. I can't wait till he shows up.
Well, I think it was like his second or third. Like he's had multiple concussions this season, so I think that's why.
Ah,
So it
okay.
might be a little should be out, but if not, a lot of people are on the TJ Power train after today, and that might be another bit of a trendy upset pick. All right, let's go out west to the West region where Arizona's the 1 seed Purdue, the 2 seed. All it took was Purdue to get away from Mackey Arena, and they finally looked like the preseason #1 team in America. My God.
Yeah, that run they had in the Big Ten. I mean, I will say though, they did kind of get a very favorable draw in the Big Ten tournament, but
Today was no fluke.
to yeah, they went out today and they yeah, like you said, they looked like the preseason #1.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that team, it's dangerous if they're playing at their best, and I feel like that this is exactly what we've talked about, in a few other podcasts before this. That it feels like we haven't seen Purdue play their best yet.
The ceiling is high.
It's extreme. Look, I mean, they had two guys today drop 20 points. Two others with 14, and then Braden Smith has what? Braden Smith had 11 assists on the day. I mean, that's ridiculous. Um, so it's tough when they're playing like that, but I don't know. We'll see because it is like you get that trend going into the tournament, but there is still that feeling that like it did take 99% of the season just to see them play their best.
We're still talking about Purdue too, and
Exactly.
would it not be the most Purdue thing ever to go on that Big Ten tournament run, have everyone start picking them, and then lose first or second round?
This is what me and you have always talked about. It always feels like there's that Big Ten team. They're hanging around either like a 3 seed or like a 4 seed, and then they go run the Big Ten. They go run the table in the Big Ten, and they're the most talked about team. Uh, they end up getting a higher seed than they were projected because they win the Big Ten, and then they lose very early on. We saw it with Michigan State back in the day. Illinois has been the very trendy one for this.
I was the one that always
Iowa,
comes to mind for me that one year.
right? So it's like you think about it, and maybe part of it is you're seeing all those tough teams in a row. You're probably a little bit fatigued. Um, Maybe part of it's overconfidence. I don't know, but it's I don't know if it's a very easy draw seeing Miami Mizzou in the second round.
I like Mizzou. We
Mizzou's got a
talked about them
lot of
last time.
length.
Yes,
Mizzou's got a lot of length, and they can shoot, and that's something that's very intriguing about Mizzou. Miami, they're kind of been a weird team. They've played teams really well this year in the ACC. So, well, I do kind of like Mizzou in that 10 spot though. But yeah, it's. I think when you get that length, because what's his name? What's that guy's name? The center that's like 7'2" that can shoot.
Mark Williams,
Is that who it
the
is?
guy from Duke.
No, no, no. I'm talking about the guy from Mizzou.
Yeah, he transferred there from Duke.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Is it Williams? Mark Williams?
I don't know.
You know who Mizzou has though? I forgot to bring this up last time when you brought him up on the last episode. You remember 2 years ago or 2 or 3 years ago when Detroit Mercy like didn't win a game?
Yeah,
So they have a guy, or they had a guy on that team who was by far their best player, leading scorer, averaged like 30 a game, Jaden Stone. And then if you remember last year, he transferred to West Virginia and literally like disappeared. Didn't play all season. There was no update. He's on Mizzou now.
interesting. Huh.
They are a team I like too, and the point guard T.O. Barrett.
T.O. Barrett's very solid. I think it's tough, because like you think a guy like TKR for Purdue, and I kind of feel like Mizzou almost can counter him.
Mark Mitchell. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what it is. So it's gonna be interesting. Um, if Mizzou can get out of that first round, how Purdue's gonna match up. I think the biggest story that we're not talking about is fins up.
Uh,
The Shark
they
Tank,
couldn't get a fit. They
congratulations.
couldn't. Yeah, congrats. That's the thing you got to talk about these 16 seeds, just getting there, right? My question is, if you were a 16, would you want to play in a playing game?
I feel like you want to because then you get like the problem is like when you get that that team in the first round automatically, you kind of play at a slot where like six other teams are potentially going to be playing around your time. So like, no, once you go down by 30, no one's really watching your school anymore.
Yeah, you get a standalone game where everyone's
Exactly.
watching, and
So
you
that's
also
what's nice.
yeah, you also get a chance to technically pick up what's considered an NCAA tournament win if you
Right.
win that first four game.
Yeah, I'd want that first four spot because like you get that prime slot and once I mean, realistically like how many 16 ones have people really tuned into other than UMBC and what
Fairleigh
UMBC, yeah,
FGU.
yeah, FDU. No one's really been tuned in too hard to a lot of 16 seeds. So
I do remember what 20 what was it? 20 I don't know what year it was. 2017, 18 maybe. Iona versus North Carolina. I was at the game though. Iona was up at half. I remember that. 16-1. But yeah, I just
yeah,
think you get the standalone spot and you get a chance to actually pick up a win. But yeah, LA used the 16 seed there against Arizona. One thing that really upset me here. I was pretty dead set on picking Hawaii as an upset before the bracket came out, no matter who they got. They got the 13 seed in this region, and they got the 4 seed Arkansas.
yeah.
And they're not beating Arkansas.
No, I think it's it's tough what Darius Acuff might do to the
Oh,
Rainbow
God.
Warriors. I don't even want to think about it. He might drop. He might have 65 points. I mean, what he dropped 33 separate times in the SEC tournament
Oh,
this
my
weekend.
gosh.
Um,
He's absurd.
yeah. So that is something that is interesting. One thing I want to point out. High Point obviously is they've been a solid program for a while. They're 30-4 this year. However, you know you look at Wisconsin, and I just think that Nick Boyd might be too good. I feel like Boyd.
The guard play.
It's yeah. When you look at it, which a potential Boyd Acuff second round could be awesome. I'm just thinking about that in my mind. High Point, they are solid. There's going to be a lot of points scored in that first round. So if you're betting over, take that High Point Wisconsin over.
High Point shoots a lot of threes.
Yeah. So, they do have the style, I guess, to kind of play with Wisconsin, but I think when it comes down to, like I said, it's the tournament to me is elite guard play, and they, Boyd's that exact spot.
Blackwell and Boyd.
Yeah, well, exactly. But I think, well, I mean, when you look at Boyd's game though, he can do everything.
It's like you want the guard that you can put the ball in his hands at the end of a game when you need a bucket. And Boyd is the definition of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's unreal when you watch him. I kind of feel like, don't you feel like he's one of the most untalked about elite players in college basketball?
Probably just because, well, shit, Wisconsin has some of the best wins in the country, but with how cold they were. But I I thought of Wisconsin as that team. I thought they were going to go on the run that we talked about with Purdue, where they go on the run and then lose early in the tournament. And I actually looked at their schedule and compared it to that Iowa team a couple years ago that won the Big Ten tournament and lost to Richmond, and it was like eerily similar the way it worked out in terms of like when they started winning and losing, and they also would have finished with the exact same record. If Wisconsin would have won the Big Ten championship, they would have finished with the exact same record of that Iowa team.
So that is interesting to know. Maybe we could see a High Point upset.
Well, no, that them losing made me like Wisconsin to not lose.
Well, that's
Yeah,
the
I
thing
was like,
though.
thank God
That's
they lost.
that's what I always like the teams that like lose because it gives them that extra break. And that's what's kind of tough about, you think about it, you play up until that Sunday. I mean, you literally play up until the minute of the bracket release.
Yeah,
Um, so it's kind of weird that like they go so late.
and this region or where they're at least is out west. So I think it happened last year to them as well when they played in the Big Ten championship, lost to Michigan. Then they had to go all the way. I forget where it was, but they were out west and they had to play BYU in the second round. So yeah, short rest, the travel. You almost don't mind losing early, I think.
Yeah. I mean, since you just brought it up, BYU. Um,
Dude, why do they always get the best draw?
you can see this is it's exactly what I thought too. I BYU, like you said with the Rainbow Warriors, BYU is my team automatically. I don't care who they saw. I don't care if it was Idaho. All right, I'm taking Idaho the first round, but that I just the bounce they have maybe the best player in college basketball. I don't know. He's very good uh in the bounce stuff, but you look at him and it's like they've been so cold. They played well in the Big 12 tournament. They did. They kept it close. But man, Texas NC State. I just Texas lost to Ole Miss. Maybe it was Suit Chris Beard. You never know.
Suit Chris Beard is elite. Don't forget that.
What overtime loss? Should have been playing for the championship.
Yeah,
It's all
almost
right though.
almost another bid stealer.
Yeah, but and then you get NC State, and that's a weird team too for me because I feel like at the beginning of the year they were very, very talked about. Uh, people were like, "This team's pretty solid," and then they just went out. It was a slippery slope for NC State. Um, so it's this is like one of the most bizarre spots because with Texas, NC State, and BYU, you're kind of getting like what feels like three of maybe the coldest teams playing in potentially a round of 32. Uh, or I mean, playing for in that first spot. Obviously, who wins out of Texas, NC State. Um, maybe they did that so that they could set up the Mark Few Sweet 16.
But even like Gonzaga, they've been cold as well. And like you're telling me BYU, Texas, NC State, Gonzaga. I guess you can throw Kennesaw State in there, but probably not. Like you're telling me one of those teams is going to be in the Sweet 16. That's disgusting to me. I don't like that.
Yeah,
One of those teams is not one of the best 16 teams in the country.
no, exactly, and that's how I feel too. Um, which makes me feel like if Mizzou could potentially beat Miami and obviously upset Purdue, I think a potential matchup is Gonzaga slash whoever comes out of the BYU slash Texas slash NC State. Are we talking a potential? I mean, that would be the nice spot to do it because it always feels like there is that double digit seed,
Yeah.
that makes it that run. They do kind of have a nice spot there.
Or
Maybe
or
Purdue,
Purdue just has the walk to the
yeah,
Elite
or
Eight.
Purdue just is really that good and could easily walk into the Elite Eight. Um, yeah, this to me is one of the weirdest ones. I haven't ever felt like there's been such a cold spot for
Yes,
teams.
that part of the bracket just like upsets me.
Yeah, it's dead. It's like if this is the spot where like I wish like
You
if
got they could have at least thrown like a trendy team in that
they should have thrown
first
Miami,
in
Ohio in
that
that
first
spot.
four
They
matchup.
should have they should have
Please.
put Miami, Ohio in the first four in swap with NC State. That would have been the most picked team. Everyone would have loved that. Um, but they didn't, so it's weird. The only other one we really didn't talk about though is the Nova Utah State game. Um, Mountain West is always an auto fade for me. They're frauds. Everyone loves them. I know Rothstein's like he's like that's like his baby.
Yeah.
Um, but I just Nova or I think Nova might be a little bit too solid of a team. Utah State is really good though. Don't get me wrong. They are legit.
You know I love Utah State this year.
Yeah. I Utah State is legit. They are a very, very good offensive team. They're hard to beat. They could stop you on defense as well. And what's interesting to note though is it's not like Utah State like has had an easy schedule. The Mountain West is a solid, solid conference. Um, they beat San Diego State, who was on the bubble, which was a big one. So it's they're in that tough spot though, where like I'm actually kind of surprised they were a 9. Um, it kind of feels like going into this, I could have seen them as like a 7.
Yes, especially after winning the Mountain West, which you said is a pretty solid conference.
Right. So it's if if they were in a 7-10 spot, I would have liked them probably a bit more. Um, the 8-9 is always weird for me, but it you see Zona and you might as well pack your bags.
Yeah, one of these teams is not beating Arizona.
Exactly. So it's it's gonna be it's gonna be a weird. This is a weird region for me.
I think we hit on literally every game in that region though. That was pretty impressive.
Yeah, and there's something to talk about in every one of these games in this region.
Yeah, you say we let's get out of the West then and head to the Midwest, to our neck of the woods, where the Michigan Wolverines are the 1 seed. We got Iowa State down there at 2, Bama at 4. What's some that catches your eye in this region? A team, a matchup, or I guess we kind of talked about it with Michigan. I think that you talked about it. That Michigan, that upper section. I think Michigan did get a great draw. I'm not afraid as a Michigan fan. I'm not worried about Bama. I think Bama gets out of that their little bottom section easily. No worries with Georgia and St. Louis. Michigan did just lose in the Big Ten championship where they did not play great. They have, I guess you could say, struggled a little bit to end the regular season, and not they've not really struggled, but compared to what they were earlier in the year, they've looked different. Which I mean, you can't beat people by 30 points all season long.
Yeah. What's been weird about Michigan is like when they haven't really lost a game where they've played well.
Yes,
It's like every time they lose the game, they're turning the ball over, like uncharacteristic wise. They're not shooting well. Elliot Cadeau, what against Duke had was like 1 of 15 shooting.
I will say the Wisconsin game.
I guess
I
yeah,
do think Wisconsin kind of beat them, which was kind of crazy because Wisconsin almost beat them again when I felt like
yeah,
Michigan played well. Like Wisconsin's the only team that's you could say like ran with Michigan while Michigan was on their game. The Duke game and then the Purdue game, like you said, that wasn't what we've that's not the normal Michigan we've been used to seeing this year.
yeah. So that's why it's like I mean you look at I think the 8-9 of Georgia St. Louis might be one of the weakest 8-9s I've probably ever seen. I don't.
That's where I'm saying like Ohio State got screwed, I feel like drawing TCU. Like I feel like those are two of the strongest
Yeah,
8-9 teams.
yeah. I think if you would have put I honestly would almost argue if you put any other 8-9 on this spot, I'd probably take them, uh, in that head-to-head. I don't think Georgia's that good. Um, Georgia to me is like they unless they're at home, I would I don't think they're that solid unless they got that home crowd. But, St. Louis, they were very trendy. I do think St. Louis is gonna be so trendy when everyone because in the March Madness, show, they showed Robbie Avila, and they had a little thing about him. But
And what did everyone do right before watching that March Madness show? They watched Michigan lose. So we
exactly.
might be seeing people pick St. Louis, Sweet 16.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, I don't even know who wins that 8-9. I don't necessarily care. I don't.
Yeah,
I Yeah,
that one can be swept under the rug.
it's that one to me is just like a it's. I'll probably bet on the game, but other than that, like,
You're betting on every game.
yeah, it is true. The one I want to talk about in the top part of this Midwest is the Texas Tech Akron. The 12-5 is a very popular spot for a lot of people. A lot of people like 12s because a lot of people like 12s as their double digit seed outside of, like, obviously 11.
It's historically the upset that happens.
Yeah. I am gonna go on a whim. All right.
A what?
I think this one I'm gonna go on a whim. Wing. I don't know.
Isn't it
I mean,
going isn't it go out on a limb?
probably.
Well,
I don't
I
know.
actually want to know what it is. Is it limb or all right, sorry, go ahead. I'll look it up. I thought it was go out on a limb, like go out on a tree limb.
I thought it was going out on a whim. I don't
What's a
know.
whim?
You tell me. You look it up.
All right,
um,
keep talking.
um, regardless, I'm just gonna go out. That's just leave it there. That that 12-5 between Akron and Texas Tech is gonna be obviously Texas Tech with JT Toppin. Not he tore an ACL. He's out for the season. Um, Akron is going to be probably the trendiest pick, I think, as a first round upset that we're gonna see. What I they're really good. I do think Akron is really good. I'm gonna go out and say this though. I think Texas Tech still might. I still think Texas Tech is that good. I think that they were they were my preseason favorite to win the national championship. Um, obviously you lose your best player, but they still have played relatively well. However, in the Big 12 tournament, they did kind of get ran out of the gym.
Hmm.
But I don't. That's a tough 5 seed to draw for Akron. It if I was Akron, I'd rather see a St. John's or a Vanderbilt. As a 12. I, I'm gonna probably go against the grain here, and I'm gonna take Texas Tech to beat Akron. I just think they're a little bit better than them, and they're always Texas Tech to me is always in my mind a tournament team.
Yeah.
So
McCaslin does well in the tournament. He usually overperforms. Akron too. This is their third straight time winning the MAC and making the tournament. The past 2 years, they've also been a very trendy upset pick. In the past 2 years, they've gotten blown out in the first round. So I 100% agree with you. I'm all on Texas Tech here, but I do think a lot of people are going to be taking Akron. Regardless of what happens there, though, I think Alabama does come out of there.
yeah, I agree. Um, that's why I really don't want to talk about Alabama too much. I don't necessarily think that game's going to be too challenging for them. The one I do the one wild card in this entire region to me is going to be Tennessee. It's always been
Yep.
Tennessee. I said it weeks ago. Um, they have that perfect style. I don't necessarily see them struggling versus SMU or Miami, Ohio, whoever they see. Um, that Virginia game in the second round is going to be it's going to be interesting. Um,
I think it's a great draw for a 3 seed you want to see.
I do too. I do too. Um, so it'll be interesting what they see. I think they could come out of that. If they come out of that, you're probably seeing Iowa State. Um, Maybe. I don't know. Kentucky is solid. Um,
You never know when Iowa State's going to shoot 10% from the field. So,
exactly. And so that's the interesting. The only other storyline I want to say though, if we do see a Virginia Iowa State game, I texted you this. There's either going to be 6 total points in the entire game, or there's going to be 600. Like we're gonna that halftime score is legitimately going to be like 12-8, or like 66 to like 59 at halftime. So that's something that I'm looking forward to if that does happen. But like I said, I do think Tennessee is that wild card in this entire region. I wouldn't be surprised to see them potentially make the Elite Eight. Um, Kentucky is another one I do kind of like. I think when Kentucky is at their best, uh, they could probably beat Iowa State, and I obviously I think they'd be able to play with Virginia and Tennessee too. Um, so that region to me, this bottom region to me is probably the one where I really don't know. I kind of feel like you look at Iowa State, Kentucky, Virginia, Tennessee. To me, all those teams,
there's
I
four
don't
teams that could come out of here easily.
exactly like I don't see any other spot in the entire bracket where you're kind of looking at like, well, maybe this team can like I feel like this is the one where a lot of people are going to lose a lot of points in their bracket. And this is going to be purely based off of who they take because one of these teams is making the Elite Eight. And, it's gonna be tough to pick. That's
One
all
of
I
them
gotta
is
say.
probably losing first round too. I think you could easily put a 25% chance on all four of those teams to make it to that Elite Eight, and I think it's mainly because they're four teams, which you kind of hit on, that we've seen two completely different versions of throughout this season. We've seen them look very, very good. We've seen them look very, very bad. That's especially the case with Kentucky. You know they have the talent, but you just have no clue which Kentucky team is going to show up, and if the wrong one shows up, they have looked bad, bad, bad.
Yeah, so like I mean, I'm just thinking right now, if you were to put these teams neutral court head to head, I think Iowa State is probably favored in each one, but I don't necessarily think it's more than 5 points.
I agree. I agree completely. But like I said, you don't know which Iowa State team's going to show up, and like we also saw Iowa State, they did shoot well the other night. I am talking. They did play Arizona, of course, which is one of the best teams of the country. But I think they played one of their best games offensively of the season then, and still ended up losing. So, but
Yeah.
Iowa State's a team I've always loved. I love Otzelberger and Lipsy. They got guys, but you just never know when they're going to go cold offensively. Tennessee, we talked about the guard play. Amen and Gillespie, Jacoby Gillespie, two guys that can get a bucket whenever you need it. And this isn't your normal Tennessee team that's all defense and can't get a bucket. They can score. So I've loved Tennessee late in the year when they've kind of come on, and I think this could be the year when they maybe break through and Rick Barnes finally does get to that Final Four.
See, that's the thing. It's like
The year
Rick,
nobody's talking about him.
Rick Barnes. He's a staple early early exit. Um, so that's something that's going to be interesting. But yeah, like I mean, I would say the Midwest bracket to me is just I feel like Michigan is way better than every team in this bracket.
Yeah, I was a Michigan fan. I'm comfortable with the draw.
Yeah, but it's like Michigan feels way better than everyone else, and then just with every other team in here, it's like I realistically don't know how any other of these games are gonna go. Um, so
This is the region that will probably end up being a mess on everyone's bracket with
yeah,
X's and wrong, and probably be a wild upset here. I wouldn't be surprised.
I'd imagine that. I mean, let's go right state.
I just, you won't be wrong, State. I wouldn't be surprised though, honestly, because Virginia is the ACC. They play in the ACC. They don't play in a real conference, so you never know.
Exactly, the ACC is it's a fever dream. What happens in that?
It is. All right. Overall takeaway though, you could probably tell with by the way we've been talking, because we haven't, I guess, given a lot of love, you could say, or favoritism in these matchups to a lot of these mid majors and in higher seeds. I don't see many upsets happening in this first round, which I know that's what everyone wants. That's what we didn't get last year. I don't see it happening this year. And now that I say that, we'll probably get a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I just you look at the 12-5 for me. Well, let me backtrack. I look at the 6-11 spot, and I just feel like the 11 seed play-ins, I don't think the play-ins are that good.
No.
Um, I think Tennessee and BYU, I think those are both teams that are both better than all four of the play-in teams by far. Um, USF's the interesting one for me. USF's really good. Louisville, obviously, it's going to depend on Michael Brown. Um, and then what's the other one? VCU. I like VCU there. That's the only other ones I could really see. The 12-5 to me, I the 12-5 I think is where everyone's gonna lose a lot of points in their bracket
Yes.
because I feel like the 12-5 when you talk about the top upset teams, you think about a UNI who back in what 2016 was always like in the tournament making runs. You think about McNeese who's always been a trending team. High Point for the last few years is always in the tournament, and then you talk about Akron who's in their third straight tournament. I think the 12-5 is going to be a lot. is going to be the mistake a lot of people make in their brackets, where they're going to choose the 12, but I wouldn't be surprised if all 5 seeds come out of this. Um, so that's the one that's interesting to me. And then like obviously I don't the 13s, 14s, 15s, and obviously the 16s.
I guess no one's really ever predicted those when they happen anyway, but I don't see 14 could. I mean, I don't know. I'm a big fan of Cal Baptist, as you know, in Hawaii, but I don't like the draws that the matchups they got.
Yeah, I think the only one that maybe, I mean, that could do some damage. It depends how North Dakota State plays. North Dakota State's a really good offensive team. Um, and Michigan State is going to be it's Michigan State is probably one of the toughest 3 seeds you can draw in March. Um, it's it for Izzo, it's first round or Final Four every year. So it's going to be interesting to see how they can do. But that's the tough draw. You get Fears, you get Cone Car, who's literally the most athletic player in the entire world. Um, so yeah, I don't know. If all right, Frank, I'm just gonna say, gun to your head, you got to choose one upset. Upset. Who you taking
In the first round,
in the first round?
the seed just has to be higher, or are you saying like higher than
Just
12?
just not an 8-9.
Uh, Not a 10-7 either. That's not fair. I feel like 10-7 is almost the new
Yeah.
8-9. Probably USF. I like what I saw of them today. I like their coach Hodgson. He's an Oats guy. They don't look they don't look like a mid-major team. I mean, I guess
No.
American is a higher level mid-major, right below the Power Five or whatever you want to call it. But they got the size, and I think they can run with Louisville. With Hodgson being an Oats guy, they play that little the Alabama up tempo threes and layups style. So I think they'll be able to run with Louisville, and if they get them in a high scoring game, I think they can easily pull off the upset. But I mean, outside of that, it's slim pickings. I feel like
I agree. Is this the Byron Brown effect? So people want to know.
we have the Michael Alejado effect with Hawaii, of course, the Diego Pavia effect with the whole school of Vanderbilt, the
Yeah,
Trinidad, well, almost the Trinidad Chambliss effect, and then the Byron Brown's gone, the Brian Hartline effect.
I guess it is the Heartline effect. You know,
It will be
maybe
interesting. It will be interesting to see if he stays there, because he's a really Hodgson's a super hot name. He was at Arkansas State for 2 years, led them to the tournament last year, I think. First year at USF, already got them in the tournament. Like he could be a Power Five
I
very
was
quick.
actually very surprised that he wasn't in for the Kansas State running. I feel like Kansas State made their pick very, very popular with I don't even know the coach's name at Belmont, but
Casey Alexander,
yeah. I, I was uh I was very, very surprised that he wasn't in the running for the Kansas State job. Um
the Providence, at least the their whole Twitter fan base, they want him bad.
I'd imagine.
But I don't know if he'll be up for a major head coaching job this season. But if I guess if he wins a game in this tournament, he likely he likely will be. What would you pick as your upset? Were you USF as well?
I was gonna say USF. I think maybe
Well, VCU is there too, but like
yeah,
I said,
I
I
would
don't even know if I consider that an upset.
I don't exactly with Caleb Wilson out. I don't
Yes,
necessarily think VCU is like you said. To me that doesn't feel like an upset. But also maybe I guess you could argue the same thing with Michael Brown out. If Michael Brown doesn't play in
yeah,
that game,
shit, I forgot
I
about that.
think I think USF. So I don't know. Like
Zero upsets.
zero
All
upsets.
right, all right.
Everyone.
Let's go 15. If you had to pick one for the clip, so we have a clip if it happens. I guess you could just say every single one so we can get a clip. All right, no. If you had to pick a 15 or a 14,
My 15 seed. I'm gonna go with. Fuck, I'm between two. I'll say Furman. I think the 30-point loss that that UConn showed versus St. John's. I think Furman's tough. They're able to stretch the ball. They're tall. They're physical. I think Furman can come out with this one. Uh,
UConn's limping into the tournament.
The only other one I would have said is maybe Tennessee State, just because obviously Iowa State's just the weirdest team of all time when it comes to if you're gonna get the best or the worst team. But
You know who their coach is?
who
It's Nolan Smith, the old Duke or
really?
former Duke guard.
Wow, interesting.
So they got a big name at coach.
All right, well,
All right, you think you could rip a Final Four right now?
I'm gonna rip.
Or you? I got some quick notes I took about the bracket. If you want me to roll through those while
Yeah, go
you
ahead.
try to sort it out.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so these are just some quick, interesting points I got from the teams that made the bracket. Queens and Cal Baptist, we already said this. They are the two teams making their first ever appearance in the NCAA tournament. We got three teams from the WCC with Gonzaga, St. Mary's, and Santa Clara. This is only the fourth time ever that four teams from the WCC have made it, with that third team being Santa Clara, who broke a 30-year drought. So congrats to Santa Clara. Other notable droughts: SMU's first time since 2017, USF's first time since 2012, Northern Iowa, who we talked about as a team who has made some very memorable upsets in the NCAA tournament. This is their first time back since 2016, and Ohio State back in the tournament for the first time since 2022. Another thing I noticed: there's a lot of first-year head coaches, or not first year, being a head coach, but the first year with their new school that had a good year and are making the tournament in their first year at their school. Brian Hodgson at UCF that we talked about. Jay Lucas at Miami. Did you remember how I forgot how bad Miami was last year?
Yeah, they were atrocious
They were
last year.
7-24. Like that's pretty impressive turnaround what he did to get them back.
Yeah, well, made the Carson Beck effect.
All right, similar to them, Ryan Odom, Virginia, the Chandler Morris effect. He came from VCU, who then brought in Phil Martelli Jr., who's also in the tournament in his first year at VCU, which I believe we talked about Phil Martelli Jr. when we did our first hit of college basketball on this
We
podcast.
did.
So a
We did.
shout out to us. Flynn Clayman at High Point. This is his first year after High Point made the tournament last year, and their head coach, Alan Huss, left to become the head coach in waiting at Creighton. And now Coach Clayman picked up right where they left off and got High Point in the tournament again. Fran McCaffrey with Penn. This is the fifth team he's led to the NCAA tournament. Bucky McMillan at A&M. Bill Armstrong at McNeese, who took over for Will Wade and also had a great year after everything could have fallen apart when Will Wade left. Jerry McNamara at Siena. He's a former Syracuse player. And then, as I said, Nolan Smith. All right, that's what I got.
All right, Frank. I think all that good talk about the good storylines got me a Final Four.
You have the Final Four.
I have the. I don't have a Final Four. I have the Final Four,
The Final
and
Four.
and a lot of people. I don't
Hold
know if
up.
they're gonna
Do
agree
we
with
have
this.
tip times yet?
I. You know what? I think we do.
That's always something that I usually
That
wait.
does make. Yep. No, actually, no. They're all TBD.
Yeah, normally it takes a while because that's always something I wait for to fill up my bracket because that definitely sways how I
It does.
think.
Think about it,
Especially
like you said.
especially upsets. Upsets can only
Right.
happen in a certain time window.
Exactly. I do agree. All right. Going blind. No tip time. I'm gonna
So
start
not if
early.
this isn't official.
No, it's not official. Obviously, things are subject to change with tip time, so don't take my word for it. This is only going to be wrong if based off the tip times. That's the only way this bracket would ever be wrong. Um, I'm going to go Michigan out the Midwest. Okay, I don't, I don't think that's very hard. I'm going to go. I I'm going to go Zona out of the West. I think they're just too good.
Chalk, 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 chalk.
I just think they're too good. All right, call me a square. I'm going to go out the South. I'm going to go Houston. All right. Um, I think they're just too good. Like you said, I think this is the year that Calvin Sampson can have it. And out the East, I'm gonna go Kansas.
Is Peterson playing?
I'm gonna go Kansas.
Peterson doesn't play and they make it without him because they're better without him.
I'm gonna go Kansas.
I knew you were gonna. You had to get off the rails a little bit with one. All right, I'll go with mine. I got Duke out of the East, similar to you. Houston out of the South. I can't get away from Houston. I want to so bad, but I can't get away from them.
That's how I felt when I debated that for like a good 5 minutes, and I was just like, I can't. Look,
If
I didn't even
not
fill I
now,
didn't even
then
fill out the
when?
side of the bracket. I didn't even fill out that side of the bracket. I just chose Houston because I just couldn't. No thoughts.
They have to. This has to be the year. All right, and then Midwest. I also have Michigan. Uh, I just think we kind of talked about it. I think they're head and shoulders better than everyone else, and Iowa State's due for a stinker at some point. And then the West, I'm going Arkansas.
Yeah, they were my. I debated that Sweet 16 a little bit.
That's a tough path, though.
Exactly. I would think I mean, Arkansas going to that Final Four could be the most tested team.
Yeah.
Going in. I don't think. I mean, if they see Purdue, obviously they would be tested hard. I think Mizzou could be a spot in there right there. BYU, it depends. I don't know if BYU is going to even get there though. That's I don't even know if BYU is going to win the first round. But um, yeah, I think Arkansas is a solid pick there. So what we both had we both had what 1-1, 2-4.
1, 1, 2. Yeah, 'cause you had Kansas. Yep.
Yeah,
No, I guess not completely chalk. Last year was all one those, so shit. Sometimes chalk is right, and this year especially could be right with how dominant the top seeds have been.
yeah. As I went back and forth though. I do think Michigan State is a solid team. I don't. I will say though, this is a 1 year. I kind of feel like this is the 1 year out of the last like what four where I felt like UConn kind of has no chance to win the national title.
The way they showed up last night, and even the regular season game when it was at St. John's, just like watching those games very in depth and seeing how they almost crumbled or didn't even show up on a stage like that, a big stage like that, has completely taken me off of them. And the bit like I think especially down low, they're not as good. Like what was the main reason they made those back to back runs was their big men play. Sonogo, Klingon, they're not the same down low. Taurus Reed is not. He's
No.
not the type of guy that can help you win a national championship.
Yep. And then one real quick thing, I want to give a shout out. Obviously, we're not sponsored by them, but I just got a notification. Bet365 is doing a up 10 early payout for the first round and first four, which is interesting.
Only 10
Only 10. Only 10
for every. Is that for every bet or just like select few?
for money line. Every single bet, first four, first round. It's
Wow.
every game.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Go Kansas.
I can't believe you. I'm still stuck on that Kansas. Peter, if something has to happen with Peterson this tournament.
Exactly. Well, my only thought process is the only thought process behind this is none. That's it. Nah,
So
it's
you
it's
had to get, but it's not official either. You don't have tip times. What are you
it's
talking
it
about?
was exactly my only thought process is if Darren Peterson plays early in the morning, he's gonna be cranky from not getting a good night's sleep. So I'm gonna have to change that. Um, but I do think though that it feels like this is the year that they could do some damage. Last year, obviously, they very tough season. Uh, everyone was like, "Is Bill Self washed? Is he washed?"
Uh, Game might have passed him by.
I guess we'll find out. So we're gonna see. That's why I do kind of like him in this spot, though. It kind of feels like the spot where everyone's like, they're not really talking about him anymore. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna take. I feel other than Darren Peterson, I mean, Kansas wouldn't even be in the light right now. Um, with all the shenanigans he's been on, so that's why I kind of like them.
All right, we'll finish out this episode with a little draft because that is what me and Josh do best. We've done several drafts on this show before, and they've all worked out very well for us. So let's continue to draft.
I agree. I agree.
For this one, we are going to go drafting teams from the NCAA tournament bracket to make the Sweet 16, and you will receive scoring for this. You'll receive points based on if the team you pick makes the Sweet 16. You will receive however many points the seed that they are. So, for example, Arizona is a 1 seed. If you pick Arizona to make the Sweet 16 and they do, you only get 1 point. So you could pick all 4 1 seeds, but that takes up 4 of your picks and you only get 4 points if they make it. Or you get obviously way more value with if you pick, say, 4 seed Arkansas and they make the Sweet 16, you get 4 points there. So we'll draft in with those rules, and we'll go 8 teams each to make 16. And who knows, maybe we'll draft the perfect Sweet 16. So this is just an interesting exercise, I think, to see how you play with in terms of taking value and smaller points and whatnot. So sound good, Josh?
Sounds good to me.
I will give you the first pick.
I'm honored, Frank. The first one I'm going to go with, I'm going to take 6 seed Tennessee to make the Sweet 16. I think the value there is very intriguing for me. I don't necessarily see them struggling in the first round, so I kind of think you have a automatic just win one. That's my goal. I don't think they struggle too hard, so I'm going to take 6 seed for hopefully 6 points.
That was also my first pick. So I am going to go with, I'll go 4 seed Alabama. We talked about we like that little section for Bama, and 4 points isn't too shabby. So I'll go Bama.
Not at all. Not at all. Um, my second pick. Or you wanna snake this, or you want me to go again?
Let's just go back and forth. You go ahead.
All right. My second pick is gonna be another 6 seed. I'm gonna go BYU. I don't think Gonzaga is that tough, like we talked about. I don't think the Texas NC State matchup is gonna be too tough in that one. Uh, all teams are just dead cold, so maybe they can get in the microwave and be the only one in there for a second. So I'm gonna go BYU as a 6 seed.
I think the 6 seed is the way to the place to live in this sort of draft.
I agree.
With that in mind, I'll wait for that. All right, I'll go. I'll go. Screw it. I'll go UCLA.
That was mine. I see that's how I feel too. It's like I took the sixes because they feel more the better value there, but I do agree that the 7 is definitely a nice spot too. It's like you kind of just don't want to take them too early. So I like your pick.
I said I hate them going out east, but the way we saw UConn just play and UCLA on a bit of a heater this past weekend, who knows? I think there's good value there for 7.
I like it. The next one I'm gonna do is I'm going to go with, oh gosh, who do I like here? I don't even know.
At some point, you got to start taking like
That's what I'm saying. I'm
threes
gonna
and
go.
fours. I feel
I'm
like
gonna go 3 seed Michigan State. Just yeah, I'm gonna go 3 seed Michigan State. I don't want obviously I can't I don't want to take 3 seed Virginia and 3 seed Gonzaga. Gotta maximize my points here. I will never ever touch Illinois. So I'm gonna go with 3 seed Michigan State.
all right. I will take 4 seed Arkansas. It's a tough path, but
Yeah,
for 4 points, I think it's worth it.
I agree. And then I'll do you one better. I'm gonna take my 4 spot in Kansas. So what we both have our 4s
Wait, yeah,
on our
you
team.
you picked Kansas. Wait, so did I. What am I talking about? I was like, you picked Kansas to the Final Four, but you only took them in the 4th round. But that's the value in this draft. So yeah,
Exactly.
what am I talking about? I just shit talk myself with that because I just took Arkansas. God. All right, I will go. All right, let's get double digits. I'll go VCU 11. Those if you can hit one double digit in this type of thing, I think you have a pretty
Yeah,
good shot at winning.
I do too. I think it's a solid pick. I think it's a solid pick by you. Um,
Thank you.
yeah, which means I'm gonna counter you and go with I don't know. I don't know if I want it here. See, I'm torn between two right now, and they're in the same spot, so I'm sure you can imagine who this is. I'm just gonna go with 12 seed McNeese. Um, I got to take one of my double digits. Uh,
Javon Garcia.
I know 900-year-old Javon Garcia.
I'm pretty sure McNeese has played like I think they had a similar schedule to Miami where they played absolutely nobody in the non-conference, and the Southland was ass.
It was very bad. The only other team that was like even okay was SFA.
Yeah. All right, I'll go 10 Mizzou.
Yeah, I do like them. I didn't want to take them in this. I feel like that my spot would have taken them there too, but I just feel like Purdue is a little bit too solid. But I do kind of like they are a very interesting pick for me. Um, I'm just gonna say it. Fuck it. 8 seed Ohio State.
Whoa, 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 whoa. We are the biggest Buckeye. Well, we
The
are
biggest
Buckeye
Buckeye fans in the land.
supporters. I like this Ohio State basketball team. I've said it multiple times. I don't know why, but I like this Ohio State team. I don't know if I'd say hate, but I'm not a fan of Duke, so I would love to see Ohio State beat Duke.
That's exactly how I am. I I don't know. To me, I've always I think you know my philosophy. It's when it comes down to it, it's guard play and it's who doesn't have freshmen. Freshmen to me aren't clutch when it comes down to tournament time, and Ohio State has two upperclassmen guards that are very solid. So I'm just gonna I had to throw one in there because I might not take it in my bracket, but it's I feel like a one seed's got to fall with how popular the one seeds are.
Yeah, Bruce and Mobley could easily be a March Madness story.
Yes.
I'm trying to take a 3 seed here to kind of just like get one that like should, but I'm finding it impossible.
That's how I felt when I was looking at this. It's kind of why I had to take an 8 seed there.
Michigan State was the one that I would feel comfortable with. I
Too
mean,
bad they're on the good guys side.
do I hit a layup here? But I don't.
Are you gonna take?
Sometimes you got to see one go through the hoop, right?
I don't hate that.
Give me Houston. Give
All
me
right,
give me 2 points.
all right, all right, all right. Yeah, I mean, I feel like you kind of took all my guys that I really wanted. Um, can we take a lower seed even if we've already taken another team in that Sweet 16 spot?
Yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna say because I'm kind of running out.
yeah, no, yeah. You can only have
All
so
right.
many.
Yeah. I will go with.
You can also take the first four,
Okay.
and it'll be the winner. Like since it hasn't happened
Yeah.
yet, you'll just get whoever wins.
Yeah. Because obviously, what matters is the tip off of those games, the
Yeah.
time. um.
Give me the tip times.
Give me the tip time. I would stay away from the first four. I'll probably go with. Um. You didn't take 7 seed Kentucky, did you?
I did not, but that's what I was gonna take. So great pick.
Thank you. Thank you. Obviously, great minds think alike.
I will then take another. No, I won't. Maybe 8 teams was too much.
How many are we at right now?
That was your seventh.
Okay.
I did
Okay.
this last year with one of my friends, and I swear we did 8, but this is hard. I think we might have been too risky at the beginning, or we haven't been risky enough.
This is true.
I'm gonna go 9 seed Utah State.
Mm.
I think I have to get at
Mm-mm-mm.
least one. Yeah, I don't have an 8-9 yet. I got to go 1-8-9, and Utah State's been my team all year.
Yeah, that's interesting.
All right, your last pick.
My last pick, I'm gonna go Vontae Mack. All right, all right. For those of you that don't know, draft day reference. Um. Anyways, I'm gonna
What?
go.
Wait, is that supposed to be a school? Am I supposed to know what school that is?
No, Vontae Mack from draft
Yeah, it's
day.
Vontae
Did you
Mack
know?
no matter what, but like,
No matter what.
yeah, that's the number one pick.
Yeah, but I had to take him last. I already ran out.
Where'd he go? He went to Ohio State, right?
Yeah,
And what
Ohio
was it?
State. Vontae.
Bo Callahan from Wisconsin. No
Bo
one,
Callahan.
no one went to his birthday party. No one went to Bo Callahan's birthday party.
Why does Bo Callahan not have friends? That's fucked up.
All
Oh,
right, give your last pick a 16 seed.
nah. I'm gonna be smart about this. I'm not gonna let you. I'm gonna let you do that to me. I'm gonna stick 15 seed Furman because I got it for the clip earlier.
Dins.
The Dins.
That is, I think that one of the coolest things is in college basketball is that they literally have Dins on their jersey.
It is nice. It is very nice.
All right, my last pick then. I'll go. Shit. Give me the Sirs. Give me the Lancers. Cal Baptist. 13 possible points. I think I completely forget how we did this last year in terms of drafting. When I did it with my other friend, I feel like there's a chance neither of us score any points here. I think we might have
Yeah.
gone. I think we might have gone really risky, but I don't know.
Mm,
I think you getting Tennessee and BYU off the rip might do it. Like that
I
could
hope so.
that could just win it for you. No, Tennessee, BYU, Michigan State off the rip might literally win it for you. I think I went way too risky at the beginning, but oh well, we'll see.
Dude, I just don't understand why no one went to Bo Callahan's birthday.
That's why it's Vontae Mack no matter what.
What was the running back's name? Ray Jennings?
Yeah,
That they
it was he played by Arian Foster.
yeah.
What's the GM's name? Sonny Weaver, or is that the owner?
I think so. I might have to
You know
watch
I
it.
watch every year before the night of the NFL draft. You know I watch that.
You got to. Maybe should we should do it at in Pittsburgh this year, little college. We're going back to college. We're gonna
What do
go
you know?
watch.
What do you know about David Putney, punt returner David Putney?
That's the special
Yeah,
team.
he's like, I want my Pitts back, and I want David goddamn Putney. All right, that's enough for this episode. March Madness should be a great week. The question is, what the hell are we gonna do for the next 48 hours before the first four starts? But
Like just cry.
getting the
Probably.
well, I'll probably spend the rest of tonight trying to figure out how the hell I'm gonna fill out this bracket. NIT coming out, that'll be very exciting. You've talked about it. Yeah,
I have.
I laughed at you for your take that this might be the best NIT. I mean,
It's.
you were dead on.
I will say I'm gonna take that one to the grave. That was probably the best call out I've ever had in the history. Maybe outside of Trinidad, that might be the best one I've had of the year.
Yeah,
That because you got to think all the one seeds fell,
yeah.
in their mid majors. So
The bubble fell, and then all the one seeds fell, who will now be in the NIT. So it should be a phenomenal 32 team NIT.
when and some crown. There's gonna be some crown pretty soon.
I don't know when it starts, but or
The
when it.
crown always feels like it's way later though.
Well, what do you mean always? It's only been 1 year.
Well, I guess like I feel like last year they did it. It was like super late. Like they played up until like I feel like they played up until like the Sweet 16.
Yeah, but is it?
It's only like what 12 teams.
Isn't it an event though that's at like a neutral site that they play all within like 1 week?
Yeah, it's in Vegas.
Yeah, so I think it starts like way later. I don't know when. It's got to be announced here soon though. But NIT should be later tonight. Crown, who knows? Uh, those are the tournaments that really matter though this time of year, right?
Yeah, I need some crownatology.
Look at past crown champions. Nebraska went from crown champion to the 3 seed in this year's tournament, and probably their best season ever. So why not play
Yeah.
in the crown?
Yeah. All right.
Anything else before we get out of here? Still thinking about Bo Callahan.
Why the fuck was no one at his party?
All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you get an invite to Bo Callahan's birthday party,
Let me know. Let me know. Let me know how he is character wise. It matters for the GM.
all right. Thanks for listening. Peace.